What's up, guys? C4, I'm back with you, and I'm joined by Fox today, who has started the Halo Fantasy League Discord. By the way, link is below. But today we're going to give our predictions for HCS Charlotte. We have a top 16 list, each of us, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hand the mic over to Fox and let him explain a little bit about his draft league before we get started with our predictions. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. Hi, I'm Fox. I'm a small Halo streamer / YouTuber. I created the Halo Fantasy League just out of the notice that there was nothing that existed for it, and I assumed that there would be desire in the market, and it seems like that has rang true because we have been growing like crazy since we launched this. We did draft picks yesterday. The tweet is sitting at 13,000 views right now. We've been gaining we've been gaining Discord members like crazy with them asking when can they start their own leagues. And it's been great. Lots of support from the community, good vibes all around. So
yeah, and you guys want to get in on that action, you want to start your own league. He has basically came up with a scoring system which will be released after Charlotte, after we do the test run. So once that happens, you guys can start your own leagues, because there's only a limited amount of players. We can't just add you to the group of players we have, because then it would just kind of like, it's just a mess, if you do that. But you can create your own league once this is all like said and done. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into the top 16 picks here, but I'm gonna let Fox go ahead and give his predictions, starting with the number 16 and going all the way down to 1, and then I'll do the same here, and then we'll talk about why we picked these teams and put them in these spots. So yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. For me, my first place is gonna take it all is gonna be Luminosity. And by take it all, I mean they're my 16th slot.
Poor Luminosity.
Poor Luminosity. I'm sorry. Look, Mexico hasn't had a strong showing yet. Next is going to be Believe the Hype, because I think they're going to barely edge out Luminosity. But I think they're online warriors. They can prove me wrong, and I hope they do. But that's where I see that going. Next up, we're going to go with Leftovers. And then we're going to go to Complexity. That's right. I put Complexity over Leftovers. Just because I wanted to see that face right there. I am kidding. It is Complexity, Cloud9, Leftovers, Native White, Shopify, Sin. And because I'm a shill for my boys and the collaborative partner for this league, TSS.
And what place did you put TSS in?
TSS is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You got them at 10th.
What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. I have them at 7th.
Okay.
I counted up from the bottom. My bad.
A little favoritism.
I think reliably they can absolutely make top 8. I think 7 might be pushing, but I think they could do it. Given the teams that are in pools right now, and whom I think are going to make it into pools from open bracket, I think they could take 7th. Then we've moved into top 6 here. I got Quadrant because I wanted to put some favor on a European team. Look, I live in Europe. I got to try and give some sort of love to Europe. Look, we iced Navi. All right. Like, we got to give a European team some love. And then I've got what everyone else is going to expect, just to be Native Red, G1. And then this is the hardest part right here, top 3.
Yes.
Let me tell you. So I put SSG in 3rd, and I have indeed. And then look, I love Optic. I do.
He loves him.
Second.
This top 3 is starting to sound extremely familiar. Almost like somebody saw my final predictions and went with that as their own.
You mean everyone's final predictions? Please.
Mine.
I only have to add luminosity, but outside that, yeah, I've got the tier maker list up to date currently. Leftovers is a brown paper bag.
Oh damn, King J, what you got to say about that?
Well, I mean, like, to be fair, I made Forbidden Fruit the Apple logo.
Oh,
For those who don't know, I make the tier list that Why Not Be Casting does.
yeah. He was using the Apple logo for. Was he using it for Leftovers?
No,
That was another team, I thought, wasn't it?
No, Forbidden Fruit.
Oh yeah,
Fruit's
Forbidden
the
Fruit.
Apple
Yeah.
logo.
That
And then
makes sense.
Triplets is the triple kill.
Ah,
But
okay.
I think Triplets is now gone, if I'm not mistaken. I think they've dispersed into other teams. But yeah, so that's my list. I've been bouncing back and forth on like how to do SSG phase and optic. Like, I know it's tough to put SSG in third place, but the issue is that with how dominant phase has been, like something's got to give, and optic has been edging SSG, formerly Cloud9, for the past 2 lands.
Yeah, and
So
I feel the same.
It's such a difficult thing, like such a difficult roster to
place, and yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give my predictions here. This was extremely hard for me to do. Okay, so like I had a very tough time trying. Like I feel like the top 6 for me is the easiest for me to predict. It's the rest of it that's very hard, because any of these teams out of the top 6 can place anywhere within the top 16, in my opinion, depending on how they play. But starting off,
that's the thing. You get a good run, right? And you just burn through.
Exactly.
Like when G1 picked up Boo Boo Doo Boo.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we just saw him go on a tear and give them their best placement.
Exactly. So in 16th, I have Divine Mind. Sorry, Divine Mind. We appreciate you coming to the Halo Fantasy League, but you have some stiff competition. You have some proving to do before I place you any higher on the next prediction list when we do the next land. So I'm not really like some of these teams. I just got to see how they place. But anyways, in 15th, I have Believe the Hype. I think they can place higher than this. Don't get me wrong. I got them there. We'll talk about this in a minute. Navi is the next up in 14th, followed by Luminosity in 13th. Navi could probably go higher than that as well. But C9, I got C9 in 12th, Native White in 11th, TSS in 10th. I think they're pretty good. They still can prove themselves to be a top 8 team, so I do have faith in them. But this is very hard for me, so you got to forgive me. Leftovers in 9th, King J, you know. That's my boy.
Hashtag sponsored.
Yeah.
8th,
I have Quadrant. They're a really good team. In my opinion, they are the best European team until Navi can prove otherwise.
I mean, to be fair, they just picked up the best players.
Exactly.
Ascend when they disbanded.
Exactly. And then I have Sentinels in 7th, followed by Shopify Rebellion in 6th. You could argue for both of those teams. They could be flip-flop. But anyways, 5th, I have Native Red. G1, 4th. SSG is 3rd. And Optic 2nd and FaZe 1st. Obviously, FaZe has been dominating recently. It's all online. We all know that. But, hey, they've been kicking some ass. And Optic have been struggling a little bit, you know? Just a little bit.
To be fair...
They still playing good, though.
To be fair to that new FaZe roster... Like, back when they were Sin, before they had Renegade, they were already a competitive team. And then replacing Lethal with a Renegade, it seems to have just fixed
all their problems.
Whatever roadblock they had. And it's tough to say. That team was together for 6 years.
But not only that...
So they knew each other inside and out.
Not only that, it's restored their passion, in my opinion, because I just didn't see that level of commitment like we saw out of Optic last year. Like Optic, dude, they were fucking fire. They were on it. They were hardcore. But FaZe have seemed to be in like their like fire has been rekindled.
Well, I do want to point out, like when Sentinels won in Kansas City, they didn't have Royal 2. They had Formal.
No, Kansas City. No, they won that. No, that was Raleigh. You were thinking of.
Huh?
You
No,
were think-
Sentinels.
Yeah, Sentinels won Kansas City with Royalty though.
Oh, that's my bad.
Yeah, it was the first land that they
They
didn't
lost
have them.
Raleigh, didn't they?
Yeah, they came in 4th in Raleigh.
Who?
Yeah.
Right, Formal edged
Or they
out
came in.
Optic.
It was either 3rd or 4th. I can't remember.
I can't even remember anymore. It's almost 1 a.m. I've not been sleeping. But it feels like every time they phase out one of their members for someone else, they seemingly play almost better. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Now SSG, I mean, like you said earlier,
Yeah,
they can prove to be like a grand finals team. This year may be a different story because FaZe is now arguably the top seed, even especially considering.
I think we have two problems right now,
Mhm.
and one is that everyone's roster has changed.
Yep.
Except for obviously SSG and Optic, and Native Red. Outside that, every single roster has changed. And then the second problem is we haven't seen anyone on LAN since October.
Yeah.
And that's going to be obviously a different story with all the changes and everything that's gone forward. It'll be really interesting to see how things piece together at this LAN, because this will help shape the predictions, obviously, for our future events.
And that's why it was so hard for me to make this list outside of the top 6, because okay, you take for instance, like Native Red are definitely in the top 6. Like I don't think there's any doubt about them being in the top 6. That's why I put them 5th, because they're 5th, 6th technically. So
yeah,
like Shopify. Yeah, exactly. Shopify and Sentinels. I have Shopify at 5th, 6th as well. But that could go either way. Like if Sentinels show up, they could take down Shopify. Shopify, I think, are going to be top 8 all year, just in my opinion.
But I think the interesting thing to point out is that TSS competes with Shopify and Sentinels. Like if you look at the 2 tournaments we just ran.
Very true.
Like Shopify beat TSS, but then TSS beat Sentinels, and Sentinels beat Shopify. Like clearly there's some stiff competition right there for those 3 teams.
And the only reason I got TSS in 10th is because this is LAN. I mean, they get what place did they get on these online qualifiers? Wasn't it like top 8?
They took 8
and one of them. Yep.
8
so
and 12.
I put them in 10th because we haven't seen how they'll play against Quadrant. Leftovers arguably like could get placed out of the top 10, maybe top 12. I mean, you could swap TSS with them. I do believe TSS have a great shot of making top 8 this year. They are a solid team. I'm actually rooting for them. But yeah, it was really hard to place them anywhere in the top 8 just because I hadn't seen them on LAN yet. I mean, on LAN's a whole different story. It's only one region,
Well, we've seen the individual players on LAN.
Yeah, true. They did prove themselves.
Individually, they all perform really well on LAN. I mean, you could just ask Happy. He'll talk for days about how well Super CC plays on LAN.
No, Super CC solid. All of them are solid on that team.
Yeah, the whole team is really good.
Native White, I haven't seen them on LAN. I mean, we've got Gilkey and then some of the other members, but Mikwin hasn't been able to play all year, so that was a very hard one to place. I put
Not
him
only
11th.
all year though, Mikwin hasn't played for 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. And then And then
you have to take, you brought Barcode in from Australia, you brought Tapping Buttons in from Mexico. Then you have Mikwin, who hasn't played for 4 years. So realistically, the only player that's like practiced in NA is Gilkey.
Yeah, and he's made top 8, I think, at least a few times because he was on G2. Yeah. So he's proved himself.
Honestly, I think Native White's going to be deadly. They just need the time. They got to figure it out. When talking with Barcode, that's what he says he thinks is the hardest thing, is just finding their stride, because between North America, Mexico, and Australia, you have 3 totally different play styles. And I think this is one of the issues that foreign teams have coming to North America, is the play styles are so different in the different regions that now you have to adapt to the US play style. So not only have we been playing longer on average because the US pushed consoles, and that was really what reigned supreme, opposed to like Europe where the PC reigned supreme. But on top of that, you have to adapt to a different play style.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have the chance to scrim as often either with the North American team, so it's just
I want to point out that J-Lings did not qualify to have their trip, like their travel covered. That being said, they have still decided to go to Charlotte and pay for their players to play through open bracket, which I think even if they don't make it out of open bracket, it's a brilliant move on their part because they're going to get that NA experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they'll get to keep practicing. We don't have any lands in Europe this year, so they're also going to be limited on how many events they can even go to. So I think that is going to be valuable.
We don't really have many lands outside of Texas this year, to be quite
honest.
right.
Yeah. Do you? By the way,
we're not even going to say North America. We don't really have many lands outside of
TCS, the Texas Championship Series. Over here.
Do you want to weigh in, bro? Droopy, you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah, I do. So I think the one thing we're really not talking about is leftovers. Leftovers loses one game of CTF over the last 2 events, loses one game of King of the Hill, and they took Native Red to 2 times to best of 5, like all 5 games. So
good point.
I mean, that's Native Red.
Good point.
They 3-0'd TSS, which is my favorite team. They took it to 4 with Sentinels. So and on LAN, I'm assuming these guys will probably, I mean, all these guys really have a lot of LAN experience. So I think that's going to be one of the underdogs that I think are really going to take your guys' bracket and kind of tear it to pieces. If anything, I could see them potentially making an upset to top 8 to top 7.
Yeah,
so,
no,
I mean, if they're playing like
agree.
they did over the weekend, those guys are going to be quite up there. So we'll see. I think it's obvious that they're going to make it through open and definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Seeded.
Yeah, they're definitely.
Even if they get seeded against Native Red, which I think is Pool D, I don't see them having an issue. If they get Pool C, I think Pool C is the easier one, obviously.
I think it'll be interesting. A, it'll be on LAN, which is always a different experience. But B, they've not played together that long.
You're right, but I think they kind of have something to prove to everyone that they can obviously, with Huss being dropped from TSS and King J not getting picked up.
Yeah, Huss is on a revenge tour, and I think King J is on J is on a bit of a revenge tour as well for just not being picked up by another team.
I'm gonna say this for King J out there. I have him at like 9th. I believe in you, King J. I believe you can break top 8. You're my boy. So it was just tough competition, man. That's the only reason I got you there. Just let you know. But yeah, go ahead and way back in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was actually a huge Ascend fan. I was a really big fan of Shady season 1 on the Ascend team. I went to go watch him play in
that did not age
in
well.
Kansas City. Yeah, right. So I really like Ascend. I like Sika. I like all those guys, and I just don't think they have what it takes to get in. And I mean, I think the best that Ascend ever did was top 8, maybe 7th. So I just don't, with the lack of experience of, unless. I think the one that they did really well at, they actually came over about 2 weeks prior and scrimmed from America. Unless they're going to do that, unless they're going to do something like that, I don't see them breaking out of top 10. Maybe they get a top 9, but I just don't see Navi or Quadrant being able to do that unless they spend about 2 weeks here getting used to the faster internet and things like that and the faster play style that we're able to do. I mean, obviously they do scrim us every now and then, but like what, it was 110 ping difference here, so it's just,
I mean, you've seen me play Happy, and how often is my ping below 120?
Yeah, so it's just, I mean, obviously they need the experience, but I mean, it's at what cost and how much better of experience they can have coming over here and playing in the States. So I just don't see them breaking out. I don't see Complexity, Cloud9 doing well. Unless Sentinels. So Sentinels is the one that we're like, look, Sentinels is going to be top 6 or they're going to be top 12. Like and there's no really in between with Sentinels. But I mean, then again, if you look at Sentinels comeback that they had, what was that, the very last day they made it into top 10 when we were expecting them to get dropped out. So Sparty and them definitely had a good run. So that's going to be the other one. But Shopify, man, Shopify is looking deadly. Like I have them.
That's why I got them in.
I had them in like 5th.
Yeah. No. The only reason I put Quadrant in 8th, it's a little wishful thinking because I really would love to see an EU team just completely come in to the North American scene and blow some of these teams out of the water. Just completely. I
would too.
That
was one of the things that I would love to see.
I mean, dude, if like Quadrant just came out of nowhere and got it in the top 3, I would fucking probably throw a fit, dude. Like at the event, like I'd be like,
dude, I would actually be really hyped by that.
You wouldn't be the only he threw a fit.
Bro.
Those guys were always really cool when I got to meet
mean-
all the EU kids and at Kansas City, and they were all just hanging out in the crowd, just chatting with everybody. They
Dude,
loved the sport.
They
really
honestly,
cool
in all honesty, like I mean, I like a lot of the pros in the community, but dude, them international teams are some of the coolest fucking people. Like, dude, I remember in Orlando, I got a Days Inn hotel, like a 10-minute walk from the venue, and I go to the IHOP that's built into the hotel, and fucking Divine Mine are in there just chilling, just eating. I'm like, those look like some cool ass dudes, man. Like, you know, I didn't really speak to them, but like, just, you know, just the vibes they give. I don't know. No, this was
I bet they're like, we got to try this.
now you guys are making me miss IHOP.
Right.
I know what we're gonna go eat. Just all the breakfast food.
Let's not derail on the food, because I'm gonna probably be eating at some of the best restaurants around town.
I mean, you're saying that you have wishful thinking to put them at 8th, and I have them in 6th, just because I want to see a European team do it. That is some.
So you want to see it more than me?
I mean, I live in Europe now. I want to see a European team just fucking crush it. Like, honestly,
I have the highest that I put Quadrant was 12th. I don't have Navi in top 12.
Yeah, Navi, it just weren't doing it for me last year. I just didn't see it. I watched a lot of their content though.
I think eventually we'll get a European team that just tears, kind of like Ascend did.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Ascend made top 6, I think, at Orlando. And was it Orlando?
Ascend, I couldn't even tell you. I'd have to go back and look at the placings. I just know.
I'm trying to think of when I know they made top 6, and I'm trying to remember when it was.
They got into the tops at some point. It might have been Kansas City. I feel like Kansas City was the event where a lot of upsets were happening.
Kansas City.
They made what now?
Okay, so they made 7th, 7th, 8th, and
see, that's what it was. Yep.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I want to bring up something that I haven't heard you guys say. Where do you guys have Believe the Hype?
I have them at 15th. Honestly,
we both have them at 15th.
I do. Look, I do think they can beat Luminosity. They can beat Navi and C9 and Native White. I don't think they're making it much past those players though. Those teams.
Okay. Hold on. Let me get some stats.
They're good. Don't get me wrong. They're freaking good.
I mean,
but
yeah, they did really good against G1.
And they didn't they get top 8 in one of these qualifiers as well? So like they made pool play. And
they beat Shopify, Native, maybe Proton.
I think personally, it's like I said, the only reason I got them so low is just because of how much competition there is in the 10th through 16th spots, or the 9th through 16th spots, should I say? But I do believe they have the possibility to break into top 8 in this event if they play well. I mean, I could realistically see them maybe settling for top 10 or top 12, but.
If Monster's as good as he is online, I think
that's one of the reasons why I got him so low, just because of Monster's allegations.
Monster does not play well on land, though. He never has.
Yeah,
never.
And that's why I got him. I got that team so low, just because of everything that I have heard. I just don't. I want to see them prove themselves before I start predicting them to be in higher spots for future events.
Like, they've taken first place, second place, first to second, and third place.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all online. Every single one. Then he's got 13 to 16, 9 to 12. Actually, 9 to 12. That's online anyway. Yeah, so no, it's 13 to 16, 17 to 20, 13 to 16. Those are his land placements. And every time, if I'm not mistaken, his stats were the weakest on the team. Now, I could eat those words because I'm not looking at the exact stats for those results. But Monster just doesn't play well on land. He does not.
And it could be not from cheating. It could be from just nerves. Like maybe
but
his
that's the thing.
nerves
I'm not saying
like...
it's cheating. He could be a Halo 3 online warrior. Awesome has been preaching this for so long. The kid, when you get to LAN, it is a very different experience.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Not only is there little to no latency, which is obviously weird to play on since you're always playing with some sort of, but on top of that, it's not your setup. You're not comfortable.
Exactly.
And when you get on that stage, there are so many people looking at you, and you know this is being broadcast on top of all of that. It is the nerves are unreal to play on stage.
And
Like I have choked up on stage before. It is rough.
And there's arguably like some great ways to prepare for LAN events. Like for one, try to have a monitor that's exactly the same as the one they're using. For one, play at the frame rate that you're going to be playing at the LAN. Stop playing on 200 freaking frames like you guys are at home. That's another thing. I play on 120. I play on an Xbox. I'm prepared if I go into an open bracket, even though I'm not playing on a team. I'm prepared. I have the chops for that because I've practiced on 120. The other thing is, I don't know if Monster streams regularly or if he has a big audience at all, but if you stream, you could kind of replicate some of that pressure that you would see on LAN, and then, buy you a big fucking light, put it in front of your face. You want to play under the light? I'm just that's the joke, but like the other stuff.
At the end of the day, like if you don't have the nerves, you don't have the nerves.
No, true. You gotta have that mental.
Honestly, until Monster can break out, like I'm just not gonna play some high. I'm sorry. Like
So-
Exactly.
With that being said, I guess I want to ask this. So
Okay.
what teams, there's going to be 4 teams, right? What teams are going to make it out of pool play? Or open?
Out of open. So I had Native White, Cloud9, Leftovers, and TSS. TSS they didn't make pool play, right? I'm pretty sure.
I don't think
No.
Cloud9
Yeah.
is going to make it out.
You don't think they're gonna make it out? Yeah. So I know TSS. I got a really good feeling they're gonna make it out for sure. In Leftovers and Native
Yeah.
White, but I mean,
like,
you could argue Cloud9 because there's Going Rogue also with Toady 2-turn Envor, and then there's Proton Gaming to think about as well.
Well, not
So-
only that, I think Proton's looking really good, but I mean, even Command Station and Ace, that team
With
like,
Kratos.
those guys. I mean, Kratos is really good. Command Station played top 5.
She's damn
FFA
good.
person.
I've played her.
Like, and then along with Ace, and Ace, man, that dude's just an in-game leader, but like out of the game too. Like he's just an all-around leader.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. That might be one of the teams that makes it out, but I'm not. I'm thinking Cloud9 might be upsetted and not make it out. They have not really been looking strong. I'm trying to pull up their stats right now.
I just want to make a
it's,
comment about Command Station. She is probably one of the freaking best individual skilled players I've played against. She's got a solid shot. But the one thing I've met her too at LANs, her whole persona is like just calm, collected, like dude, like fierceness. Like there's something about her. Like she's scary, dude. Like dude,
Dude,
she's
man.
fucking
It's
scary.
Ex-military. She doesn't.
Absolutely,
mess
it's
around.
the
Yeah,
military in
she's
her.
just
Yeah,
like she's just like she
terrifying.
when she like when she glances in your direction, you're like, yeah, that chick, yeah,
But
she's
she
confident
takes
as fuck.
She takes the professionalism in this
Yes,
game like to
yes,
a
she
whole nother
does.
level. She's not like one of these like, oh, I like playing the game. No, she's business.
It's
minded
Yes.
in this game.
Yes, she is.
It is hilarious listening to their comms because you have Command Station and Miss Lakar, and they are so calm and collected.
And that's what you need.
Ace
You have
turns
Ace and
like
Kratos.
Ace can turn it up a bit, like he gets amped, but then there's Kratos, and that man is just like he's like deep throating that mic, shouting every single thing. It is hilarious to listen to the range in their comms because they're just so different.
Now,
Well,
I do have a question on Cloud9. So we know that Cloud9 basically borrowed Rami for
Yeah.
the tournament over the weekend. Is Rami staying on Cloud9? Has anybody confirmed where he's going, or are they
They've-
picking him up as a fourth?
They
or
made a
what?
They've
post,
only-
didn't they?
No, they've only said that he's a substitute for now. And knowing Rami's track record, he's gonna get dropped. Now, I think they should keep Rami because I think Rami's probably the best player on their team.
Really?
But
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
no, dude, Rami's he just Tony's been preaching
Triton's
this.
good though too. I really like Triton.
Every time Rami's on a team, they drop him, and then the team does worse.
I don't
Well,
get.
and then
every
no matter
single
what
time.
team he goes to and he's picked up on, whatever team he goes to does better. So
It does
I
better
mean,
naturally. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but why
I
is
do
it?
not know. I do
Yeah.
not know how Rami can just keep getting dropped over
That's what I
and
was about
over
to
and
say.
over. Like it's a pattern. I don't know where this pattern came from, why it continues to happen, but
Yeah.
Rami just might be the most unlucky individual. He is the opposite of John 117. Like Cortana looked at Rami, went, "Oh no, that man got struck by lightning one too many times. Like, we're not going there."
Yeah.
And the one thing, and I'm not saying this about Rami, but a lot of things are like, working with TSS and the boys and figuring things out, like as far as going back in December of who we want on our team and stuff. Like there was a lot of things that like I obviously look at stats and look at skill wise, but then they look at not just that, they look at communication out and inside the game. Like how does the person react? Does the person bring stress to the team?
Mm-hmm.
Are they a very positive person? So it could be a lot of those factors as well. But then again, I played custom games with Rami and I didn't see any problems. So, but then again,
No, Rami's cool.
Custom games versus some heated stuff.
I've played against him in a 2v2, and we were private messaging each other like a while back. He's a pretty chill person. Yeah.
But I think this also goes back to we were looking at the stats. You, me, and Awesome Happy. We were looking at the stats, and TSS in Orlando did not have the best stats. But they made it.
That was a completely different team, wasn't it? Though.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it was Huss, Mortally, Ace, and
Chase.
They were still a good team, though. Don't get me wrong. But, like,
no, I'm not saying,
they also
they're
just
bad team.
started. Yeah, I mean they just got together and then they went to Worlds with less than 30 days of practice.
Yeah, that was like a straight pickup team, like out of nowhere.
We're getting off track to my point. My point is they did not have the best stats. Honestly, they had stats that you look at and say they'd be top 16.
Mm-hmm.
The difference was their communication, teamwork, and the situations in which they won. It was all they won the important pivs that they needed. They were able to control the map where they needed to control it. And that's something that's very important is situational awareness.
Exactly. Oh yeah, 100. That's what gets you the win most of the time.
I'm sure that a good chunk of that could be credited to probably Ace's in-game leadership, because if it comes to situational awareness, I'm guarantee you he's probably gonna have most of that. Now, I'm not saying the other players don't have good situational awareness. I'm just saying having a good IGL helps. And as we were saying, Ace is a good leader.
And then you have Kratos too. Like he can do the same thing.
Sometimes it's hard just to look at stats because you don't exactly know who's going to win.
So yeah, when you put Kratos and Ace on the team who can both IGL, and we know Kratos is the the top 5 in every stat, but he's the GOAT. But I don't know. It could work very well, but also that could prove to be a detriment because I mean, when you have two like IGLs kind of going at it, they might have like a different ideology on how to play the game. So I don't know.
It's very true.
We'll see how they turn out. I would love to see them get out of open bracket. But right now, man, I mean, they have a lot of stiff competition.
Man, I really want to see, and I know this sounds bad, but like, I really want to see a team that we don't know anybody just come up and make it into like top 15, top 14, some no names with a tiny org that does like super well. Like I'm loving some of these new orgs that are coming up and really trying to make a place here.
I'm hoping that's me one day.
I'm really hoping that some of these newer rosters obviously don't take out some of my favorites, and put them in. But yeah, I would definitely like to see some of these newer teams and newer players be able to come up.
I mean, to be fair, you asked like who we have making out of open bracket. My brain literally did not compute the fact that C9 did not make pool play because of how used to I am from first season. I have 5 teams from open bracket right now on my tier list.
But you got, I mean, like
because my brain just automatically went, oh yeah, Cloud9, yeah, they made it, but the team still isn't great.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
They could be fine, but like they're not the old roster. Like at the end of the day, they don't even shadow their former.
They don't even compare, not at all. Yeah. And like I said, you got Proton Gaming with Breaking Shot, Common Hands, and Posey. That's still a pretty solid AM team there.
They're going to have to play through TSS. They're going to have to play through Native White.
That's a bunch of grinders right there.
Like
yeah, they got to play.
They've got stiff competition.
You got Arctic Avenue, Envor, and Tony Two Turn on going rogue. I can see them possibly making that open bracket, but it's gonna be hard for them as well.
You're gonna also have to go through Team Meta, who I think
exactly.
They're probably gonna do better on LAN because they'll have more time to practice than what we saw at the tournament.
As far as any other teams out of that, I really don't know of any others that could have a shot at getting out of open bracket. I'd have to look, when we get there to the event and look at the Face It bracket and see who's on the rosters for all the other teams we don't know about. But I think this video has gotten a little long, boys.
Yeah, we just gave C4 quite the thing to
But
edit.
this is good stuff. So, any closing arguments from either of you before we leave? We end this video here.
Yeah, I think Divine Mind take it all. You know, first place. Yeah, just show up.
Yeah, man.
No, I think we're gonna see some upsets here for a lot of people's brackets. I'm excited to see. I think I have SSG winning this thing, so we'll see if they can do it.
I mean,
okay.
Here's
interesting.
I will make an argument for SSG.
If they make grand finals again, I'm gonna laugh.
I think SSG deserves the respect.
Oh yeah.
That comes with their season 1 track record. But I do think they have a lot of tough competition in Optic because that was a back and forth literally all of season 1. And they're going to have tough competition with this new phase roster. So it's really difficult. This top 3, it hurts to have to pick through these 3 teams because they're so good. I think it's going to be a really good semi and grand finals. I think we're in for a treat.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we see SSG to make the finals again. You can't forget they were dominant in the very beginning of season 1. They took most of the online pro series in the qualifiers and the first 2 lands and here in North America, which one of them was a regional. It wasn't a major, but still amazing. And then they were in every grand finals. So like if we see them and maybe phase in grand finals, that's gonna be pretty badass.
Put respect on the name, right?
Exactly. I got faith in them. I still got them at 3rd right now, just based off how they've been playing. But we all know that they're not a great online team, so you can't really truly.
That's the issue I've been having.
Keep
and
them
with the run
2.
that they had in the qualifiers, that was impressive for SSG for online. That was really good.
Yeah.
So I think that we could see really good things from them if that's how they're playing online. I think they're here to remind everyone who they are and why they were in grand finals every single LAN last year.
Yep. But all right, guys, that's going to be the end of this video. We will follow up after HCS Charlotte with some of the placings from the Halo Fantasy League. I'm sure Fox is going to make a video all about that. So make sure you go check out his YouTube channel, his Twitter, and make sure you join the Discord for the Halo Fantasy League if you want to get in on this action after this first LAN event concludes here. But that's going to wrap this video up, guys. I appreciate y'all stopping by. Make sure you smash that like button, and we'll see you next time. Peace.